If you had seen our One Tank Adventure video, you would have noticed that the 2019 Proton Iriz was also involved in the challenge. The Iriz managed to finish the challenge despite being 100 kg heavier than the Saga, with 30 Nm more torque while sharing the 40 litre fuel tank. It's proven itself as a fuel efficient car. But what about the rest of the package? There's a lot more going on with the 2019 Iriz, especially in the Premium 1.6 AT spec you see here. Stay tuned as we detail the Iriz with the help of Malaysian rally legend Karamjit Singh in this episode of Road Hunters. We had seen the entire Proton range undergo a makeover under the Geely stewardship, and the Iriz was no exception. The 2019 updates has managed to elevate its exterior presence even more, giving it a fresher and, dare we say, premium look. Just like the X70, you get the infinite weave grille on the front. To distinguish itself from the Persona, the Iriz features twin chrome inserts which run from the top of the headlamps until the underside of the logo. Aside from the grille, you now have DRLs that sit inside the front air dam. The mid bumper opening is now smaller and cleaner, with black accents around it. The headlamps now sports a different assembly compared to the older car, with nice details to its finish. There's a black strip that runs across the car, between the rear tail lamps. The badge has been replaced with the word Proton, now in the new font. The R in the Iriz is painted in red. Our favorite part on the 2019 Iriz exterior though has to be the rear bumper and spoiler. The bumper is far more aggressive and has a whole lot more design details to it. It may not be entirely functional, but it surely looks the part. As for the black top spoiler, it's been given a whole lot of design input and it complements the black roof and the rear panel. Overall, we feel that the Iriz looks fresh and distinctive against the competition. What are your thoughts about the looks of the 2019 Iriz? Share your thoughts in the comments below. On the inside, the first thing you will notice is the new multimedia system. The instrument cluster also receives an updated multifunction display. The display now has improved graphics, giving a more premium feel compared to before. New to the 2019 Iriz is the 7-inch infotainment system, which features voice command, inbuilt navigation, online music streaming, Bluetooth, and for the top spec car, onboard Wi-Fi. The trim materials on the steering, the buttons and the seats have improved compared to the previous versions. There are new graphics available for the top spec car seats, and they are trimmed with leather on the sides. The seats itself are very comfortable by design and provided plenty of support during spirited driving. There are 3 USB ports in the car, 1 for data and 2 for charging, along with plenty of cup holders. It is the most spacious car when compared to the Perodua Myvi and the Honda Jazz. 4 tall and generously sized adults can easily fit in the Iriz for a lengthy drive. The engine is the same 1.6 litre 4-cylinder, delivering 109 horsepower and 150 Nm of torque. That's 5 Nm more than the Honda Jazz and a whopping 14 Nm more than the Perodua Myvi. And it develops at just 4000 RPM, which is lower than the others. The CVT gearbox has now received a software update. It sounds simple, but its effects are amazing. The transmission feels tight and keeps the RPM constantly locked on the top end. There are no sudden jerkiness upon takeoff unless you're deliberate or clumsy on the throttle. This was apparent when we drove on the notorious Kuala Kelawang stretch. The drivetrain didn't miss a beat and was able to deliver a smooth and responsive drive throughout the entire stretch. Even on steep uphills, the engine was not crashing. With 3 up, the Iriz was never sluggish. Despite the performance, it's still economical, as we witnessed during the Proton 1 tank adventure. The best cars clocked as low as 5.2 litres per 100 km. We saw an average fuel consumption figure of about 7 litres per 100 km on our drive between Shah Alam to Petaling Jaya. This is where the Proton Iriz truly comes alive. It may be a city car and will spend most of its time on the highways and car parks, but here in Kuala Kelawang, this car is truly surprising. There are minor revisions done to the chassis of the 2019 model. Coupled that with the improved engine and gearbox, this car was a true riot on these challenging roads. And this was best demonstrated by the legend himself, Karamjit Singh.
First thing I say, the handling is very good. It's very nippy, it's easy to turn directions. The engine is much more responsive and more economical compared to before, and it's very well suited to the new CVT gearbox. So the gear changes are perfect timing. These roads are very narrow and twisty, and it never not once did the car misbehave or lose traction, even though we're pushing quite hard. So very impressed, yeah. It's a good run-around car, a really run-around car, I would say.
With that kind of seal of approval from the 2002 production class World Rally Champion, we rest the case on the Iriz's dynamic capabilities. The Proton Iriz is priced at 50,700 ringgit, which sits right between the Perodua Myvi High and the Myvi Advance. The Iriz services come with free labour for the first 3 services. You'd have to visit the service centre 5 times in the first 40,000 kilometers or 2 years. As for the wear and tear parts, the Proton parts are marginally pricier than the Perodua prices. We guess that's the price you pay for the ride and handling advantage the Iriz has over the Myvi. The brakes are slightly cheaper than the Myvis. The tyre prices are the same between both cars, starting from as low as 145 ringgit on Lazada. Overall, 2 years of 40,000 kilometers of usage will set you back about 4,225 ringgit for the Proton Iriz, which works out to be 176 ringgit per month. That's slightly lower than the maintenance of both Myvis. The revised Proton Iriz looks sharper on the road, and it's a capable city car. It's got plenty of interior toys, a smoother CVT gearbox, and returns a decent consumption too. If you do take it on the B roads, it's going to be just as fun as some hot hatches. Yet, it's priced below the highest spec Myvi and costs cheaper to run too. If you're looking for a capable entry-level hatch without resorting to Honda or Toyota prices, we highly recommend a look at the Iriz. What are your thoughts about the Proton Iriz? What other hatches would you opt for? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.